Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, it's Taylor along with Jake and Barb. It is time to discuss last night's amazing episode of The Amazing Race. The show is on its 32nd season. This season was actually filmed 2 years ago, but they couldn't find a place on the schedule until now. And so far, it has been a really, really, really good season. A lot has gone on. So let's go ahead and get into it. At the beginning of the episode, of course, the leg actually, there was no pit stop in the first episode, so it went right into the second leg, and their destination they went to Bogota, Colombia, and all the teams were on the same flight, so it was interesting for them to have. I miss the days where they all had to race to try and get on the good flight, but now it seems like everything is really, really rushed nowadays. It's that part really bugs me, and it's just not as fun as it used to be.
Well, they only have so much footage they can cram in. I mean, I missed that too, though.
Yeah. But it's fun to watch only because we can't travel like that anymore. So it's
and that's why they had to cancel. They were starting to film season 33, but then everything got shut down, so no telling when they'll be able to film again. But anyway, so everybody was on the same flight. Of course, Hung and Chi, they talked about the race being a break from reality, from their real life responsibilities. A break from reality, that's sort of funny because it was filmed 2 years ago. And it's funny they say that because everybody needs a break from reality right now with everything that's going on. So it's kind of weird that they threw that in there.
Well, that's right. We do need a break from reality. We do. We all do.
yes, we do.
So
I think Amazing Race does that for people because you can go to places you may never get a chance to go to, and I always love geography and travel. So for me, this show is my jam. So
yeah. Yeah, and then we have Kelly and Levon wondering if people will underestimate them after their placement in the first leg. And then we have D'Angelo and Gary, who started off really well, but they ended up finishing in 10th place in the first leg. And then we have Jerry and Frank, who father-son relationship. Frank talking about learning a lot from his dad growing up. So when they get in Bogota, the first place they go is the Nemicon salt mine. And once they get there, they have to find an hourglass because they brought the yield back. Of course, if anybody doesn't remember, the yield was something introduced a long time ago on the race, essentially where you come to a point in the leg and you can choose to yield a team from continuing, and they have to turn an hourglass and wait for the sand to run out before they continue. An interesting thing they're doing there, they're sort of updating the twist. Now the hourglasses each have a certain amount of time, from anywhere to 20 to 30, 10 minutes or 20 minutes are written on them. And when they arrive at the salt mine, they have to sign up for a spot for the tasks tomorrow after getting their hourglass. So we have in the 6 a.m. group, we have Hung and Chi, Will and James, Riley and Madison, D'Angelo and Gary, and Eshwar and Aparna. And then the other group were Michelle and Victoria, Jerry and Frank, Leo and Alana, Kaylin and Haley, and Kelly and Levon, who left 30 minutes later. So they got to sleep overnight in a bunker, which was really interesting.
I know. I wouldn't want to be crammed in there with all those people.
I know.
God, no.
In sleeping in a bunker like that is also just really scary. And I'm already claustrophobic as enough as it is. So being in there with all those people, plus being, in a bunker, no telling what could happen while you're in there.
Yeah, that looks scary enough.
Part of me was wondering if it was haunted. So, but
I'm
yeah,
in.
I don't think I could have done that. No.
But anyway, so they leave and they head to Templo, Paraguay, San Francisco, DSCs. And there they have to climb a bell tower to receive an item. They're either going for an emerald or a golden raft. And so once they all get there, they have to, they're either going to one of two locations. They're either taking the raft to one location and or to an archaeology professor. They're going to deliver an emerald to a street broker. This seems like sort of like an unannounced detour. And 2 episodes in, we really haven't seen a proper detour. It makes me wonder if maybe they're not doing a detour this season. That was always one of my favorite tasks, was a detour, especially to see them, have to choose one of the two.
They may be saving it for later.
Yeah, they could be. They could be. But all the teams in the first group agree to work together. And of course, Hung and Chi are in first place again. They've been doing really, really well. But they have a hard time finding the street brokers. Riley and Madison have no problem delivering the golden raft. And then they travel to a circus. The next stop on the leg is a circus. And they will have to decide whether or not to yield somebody. And of course, nobody was yielded this leg, which is really no surprise. I think it's way too early to start doing stuff like that. So once they're done with the task with the emerald and the golden raft, they get to the circus. And they have a roadblock where they have to walk a tightrope, go through the wheel of death. I would be terrible at this if I had to do this on the race, because I have no coordination whatsoever. I do terrible.
It looked terrifying. Like, first of all, I don't have coordination, so I wouldn't be able to do this. And second of all, I'm terrified of heights, so I would not want to be up there walking across that tightrope. So
No.
I don't have coordination, and I don't like heights, so this would not be for me.
Yeah. So it seems like they all did really well at the circus. So it was, it wasn't too crazy.
Leo and Alana were the only team that dropped. Alana dropped the wine bottle twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do that either. The heights, I'm a klutz, so I know me, I would fall and hurt myself.
So after they finish the roadblock, they have to do a pretty interesting task. They have to assemble a truck, like put a bunch of stuff on these trucks. What they have to do, they have to hook up horns and do a bunch of other stuff. And this was really a big turnaround because a lot of people really struggled. Especially we saw Will and James, who last week I really liked, but this week they came off as really annoying. I mean, they were whining about the whole task. Mm-hmm. They obviously didn't know what they were doing, and then they read the clue wrong. They were bickering, which, they're probably not like this outside the race, but you get them on the race like this, they're going to be arguing a lot. But they were just really annoying.
Well, I think the biggest takeaway we can get from this challenge was read your clue, because people did not know that you had to attach the horn, and it's all you had to do was read the clue. A bunch of teams missed that. It was all you had to do was look at your clue. That's the biggest thing I think that they learned out of this was read your clue.
Yeah, reading is important. Just to read it, because there's oh, look, we're supposed to attach this horn. Oh, no wonder we're not doing this right.
Yeah, I used to work in tech support, and so did Barb.
Oh yeah.
Nobody ever did. They never read the directions.
Oh yeah. Did you turn it off? No. That's a juvenile thing to do. Oh look, it worked.
Yeah. So, of course, after hooking up the horns, they headed to the pit stop, and Hung and Chi were the first team again. They came in first, second leg in a row. I think right now they're the one to beat.
Yes.
I wouldn't be disappointed if they won, but I think that at this point, if they won, especially after doing so well the first two legs, that it would be really predictable if they were to win.
Well, I think that they'll go far. I don't know if they'll win, but I think they'll go far because their performance has been well so far. If they don't make any mistakes, that is, I think they'll go far.
And then we have in second place D'Angelo and Gary, who did really well this leg. They went from 10th place to second place. I think they could go really far, especially if they continue to do what they're doing.
It was definitely a nice turnaround from last week for sure that they, stepped their game up and they went from the bottom of the pack to the top of the pack. Yeah, I'm excited to see how far they go.
Yeah, and in third place, we have one of my favorite teams, Riley and Madison. Another team that did really well on the leg. I really like them.
I mean, they're okay so far. I'm very indifferent about them. Like, I don't like them. I don't hate them, but, they're okay in my eyes.
Definitely. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far they go, which ages up. But if I were one of the other teams, if I would use my roadblock or the yield thing on Chi and them,
Right.
and just to slow them down somewhat. But
Yeah.
I think that's the other important thing about this is that, it's not just a race, it's a game too. So you have to think about who your biggest competition is in the race, and you have to, yield, U-turn them, whatever you got to do to them to slow them down. And I think that that's going to be a big factor next week when the double U-turn shows up. Is that there's going to be a lot of frustration. I mean, it's gonna get real next week.
yeah, what I would do is I would pair up with another duo and combine the two and slow them down even more, like work as an alliance. And instead of 20 minutes, have 30 minutes.
Yeah. And then we had in fourth place Eswar and Aparna. I really like them. It's just that sometimes they come off as a little boring.
I like them.
Yeah, it could be that we.
I like them. I think they have potential.
Yeah, they do. And in fifth place is my favorite team, Michelle and Victoria, who are probably the funniest team on the race right now.
I love them. I feel like they're gonna be so iconic when the season's over. I feel like they're gonna give us so much this season. I can't wait to see what.
I would love to see them win, just because
I want to see them win too.
They're fun to watch. So yeah, I would love to see them win too.
And in seventh place, we in sixth place, we had Will and James, who didn't read their clue, and that's why they didn't do so well. I could see them going far, but I don't know if they'll make it to the end because they just seem so dysfunctional. They're having trouble getting along already, and it's just not going well for them.
Yeah, they seem very dysfunctional, but I think they'll go far. I don't see them making the end though.
Yep.
And in seventh place, we had Leo Alana. I really like them. I like the nerdy teams. I guess because I'm a nerd, but they seem really fun. They probably won't win, but I really like them.
I definitely could see them going far. I mean, they're growing on me. I didn't like them at the beginning, but they're growing on me now. I think I'll start to like them now.
Yeah. And then in eighth place, we had Kaylin and Haley. Not big fans of them. They probably won't last much longer.
Well, I could also see them getting like I don't know why, but I feel like if they go far, they're gonna get like uh they're gonna get like this villain edit for the season, very much like Joe and Bill did.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I could potentially see that happening.
Yeah. And then in ninth place, we had Frank and Jerry, who did pretty well the last leg, but now they're all the way in ninth place. I really, really hope that they're able to pull out of ninth place. They have a lot of odds stacked against them, but they could do it.
I think they have potential to like turn it all around for sure.
Yeah, they could definitely do that. They just went into the wrong spot or wrong patch, and then they'll just catch up. So everybody stumbles along the way. So
Here, I'll just let you keep the key.
Where are you going?
For her.
Oh. And finally, in last place, we had Kelly and Levon. Kind of surprising that they got eliminated so early, considering they're Olympians. But of course, we saw what happened with Crystal on Survivor, so it really doesn't surprise me. But I guess that they just experienced bad luck.
Yes, I do want to say this though. They had a bad taxi driver, and at least they didn't go out because they had a terrible taxi driver. And one of them said during the episode, taxi drivers are the luck of the draw. And at least they didn't go out because they had a terrible taxi driver.
Yeah, that would have been really bad. But anyway, so who does everybody think? Because we have another episode next Wednesday. Who does everybody think is going to be eliminated? I think I'm just going to go ahead and throw out and say Kaylin and Haley.
I'm going to. Oh, this is a tough one. I like so many teams. Gosh. Who do I think is going to get eliminated?
I think Will and James.
Oh,
I just a feeling that they're gonna somehow screw up, and because the way that they were fighting, or
yeah.
I just have a feeling that they could be the ones to go next.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Will and James too. I just, my gut's telling me it's going to be Will and James, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay, so anyway, next week, new episode of The Amazing Race. I'm pretty sure I don't know if it's at 9 or 8 I think it's at 8 because the Big Brother finale is 2 hours. But next Wednesday's another episode, and of course we have the double U-turn, which if it's used, it should be pretty exciting.
I wish CBS would invest in Amazing Race as much as they do the other shows. So I think Amazing Race is one of the better reality shows.
Yeah, and it used to air it twice a year, but I guess because they had sort of a bad spot with seasons, CBS just airs it when they need to fill in a spot. It'd be nice to see them air it more than once a year because it is a good show.
Yes.
There were a few seasons that were just awful, but now they're back to the basics, and I really like that, and I can't wait to see what happens the rest of the season. What I really want.
That show consistently won Emmys, so I don't see why they don't pay more attention to it. So
I'm hoping they bring back the fast forward this season.
Yeah, I like the fast forwards.
Especially, it may help some of those last place teams too if they go for it. But that was always exciting when they do the fast forward. That's one thing I do miss from the old seasons is a fast forward. Sometimes I also feel like the legs can be a little rushed, like with the first episode. But I'm really enjoying this season. I think it's going to get better each week, and I can't wait to watch next week.
Yeah, I want to say the one question I want to see answered. I mean, is that that the first 5 teams that that were together in the mine, are they going to continue to work together? I'm curious to see how the alliances are going to go.
It'll be interesting. I guess it depends on how they start doing on each leg.
Yeah.
And eventually somebody's gonna betray somebody. So it's bound to happen. So until then, make sure you follow us on our social media pages, which are listed in the description of the video. We will be back next week with our voice recaps. Also, The Masked Singer is supposed to return next Wednesday.
Yay!
Until then, everybody have a good rest of your week, and we will see you next time.